The thought of Sakola actually dropped about 8 years ago. And at the time, I was working with charities and businesses, doing a lot of fundraising, and that's the kind of work that required writing different type of documents, including proposals and so on. So it also there was a need for some creativity in that type of work. But one thing that I realized was that my creativity and imagination went far beyond what was required in my job. So what I started doing, I started writing short stories, and I started writing poetry based on my observation of society and everyday life, and I would post that on my blog. Then one day, drawing from my African origins and my experience of living in the Western world, I decided to write about the diversity of culture of many people who live in the Western world who have mixed origins. So I came up with this character, Angelique, who is an African woman, but she's also westernized. And what she has to do, she finds herself juggling the demands of ancestry, roots, as well as of her westernized way of thinking. So I added a layer as well to this book by encapsulating the whole story in a fantasy tale, or something you could call magical realism. So where we have the collision of two worlds, the world that we see, the physical world, the modern world, but also the world that we do not see, which is the underworld. So what happened is that I gave my imagination total freedom to flow, and I came up with this plot made of different type of characters from different background, including magical ones. One of the magical characters in the book is Abaddon, is the lord of the underworld, is a disembodied being. So really, this book is one that dives really deep into the element of cultural diversity. And regardless of where the reader is from, they would be able to relate somehow. When it comes to the journey, to the writing journey, I had to call on my transferable skills that I had developed as a professional working in income generation and fundraising. So the writing came in naturally. Also, the plot was already in my head because I already had an idea of what the story was going to be like, and that was really based on my experience, my personal experience, my travels, and also mingling and mixing with different cultures. For instance, the main character in the book, she is half Congolese and half Nigerian, but I am not Nigerian, but I have experience of being part of having friends who are from Nigeria and learning about that culture. So the journey as well, work, I have to take into account that working full time required some discipline. So I had to dedicate, for instance, block some time and dedicate my weekends solely to writing. So a lot of discipline was required because working full time and writing, I really had to make it. I really had to make it work. The publishing part was a lot trickier because I had no idea on how to publish a book. I had no idea. And it wasn't until a friend of mine came and she introduced me to Publish You. And what they do, they help a first time author to get the book out there and get it published. And that's why my book, Sakola, got published last year in August. So, with regards to who this book is for anyone who loves a good fantasy, magical realism story that transports you to the underworld with all kind of mystical characters and also takes you, around the globe to various countries in the physical world. And with regard to the plot, nothing is what it seems. So there is intrigue, there is human greed as well. There is what we consider, the consequences of the choices that we make. And of course, there's also the battle between good and evil. Although the reader might have to figure out for themselves, actually, what that is. What next? I'm actually working on volume 2 of Sakola, which I am hoping and looking to publish next year. And I have to say, actually, I'm thrilled to be able to use my creativity and extend it beyond my everyday job. So it's an exciting time actually for me, and I enjoy being able to explore this side of myself, which is a fiction story writer. Sakola is available on Amazon.